Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, throw out your markers and colored pencils. We've got art on Switch. Master is in woods end of the river, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society is in the woods end of the river with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined as I am always joined by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. You know, Patrick, you and I both still drink a fair amount of LaCroix.
Sure.
But I feel like...
Still?
Well, I feel like 2 years ago we were talking about... For some reason, we were talking about it all the time on the show.
Sure, right.
We were ranking flavors on 433.
Yeah.
It just feels like it was a topic of conversation.
Sure, it was part of the show's, identity.
Yes.
And now it's maybe not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't drink it as much as I used to, but I was in the grocery store buying a case the other day, and...
It is amazing how much LaCroix we give each other.
Yes, yeah.
Just by virtue of the fact that we record each other's houses.
Yes, that's right. I mean, part of the reason I continue to stock it is so that way we have it for recording.
Yes, very good.
I was at the grocery store picking up a case, and they had a new flavor.
Okay.
That I regret to inform you, I didn't have the courage to buy a case to try. It's sunshine flavor LaCroix. And I don't know what that means, and I'm interested to find out, but I wasn't interested enough to buy a case of it.
So, what do you think? What do you think? It's got to be like citrusy, right?
You would think, but they have so many citrus flavors that they name citrusy things. Well, actually, maybe that's an argument for calling it sunshine, is because they already have so many citrus flavors. They needed something that was not.
Right. It could just be the orange flavor again.
It could be.
They just call it sunshine.
Sunshine.
What if it's just like the runoff of all of the various citrus flavors and they just mix it together?
Oh, that could be. It's like when I played t-ball in first grade.
I love this, yeah.
You know, and then at the end of the night, you would get a drink ticket. You could go to the concession stand.
Right.
And you get a fill up on like a large soda. Mm-hmm. And we'd, of course, all get suicides where you get
all the way down the fountain drink, right?
And maybe that's what sunshine is. It's
maybe
the suicide.
Maybe sunshine is
of
the
LaCroix.
Suicide of LaCroix.
Yeah.
I didn't say that very well. Sunshine is the suicide of LaCroix.
It's like in Singing in the Rain.
Mark, I thought we needed to address me saying "N of the river."
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's do that.
So, of course, we're doing the Zelda 2 quotes here. And because space is so limited in those little boxes, they didn't have room to tell you that something was north of the river. So, N of river. I just found that to be a delightfully, 8-bit turn of phrase.
Yeah, and we decided to preserve it because...
Yes.
We're originalists when it comes to Zelda 2 quotes.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think that's true. We're Zelda 2, the North America region purists.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
We get angry when it's the Japanese version.
Well, I mean,
I get a little angry.
Oh yeah.
I'm disappointed more than anything else. If people would like to hear our other disappointments, not really. We're mostly talking about movies that we like over there, but you can head on over to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you are supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the Movies.
Oh, yeah, where Patrick and I are going to movies, sometimes with a special guest, and talking about them. And, ooh, we got a good one coming up this weekend.
We think.
We're going to be talking about One Battle After Another, the new Paul Thomas Anderson, Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I think that should be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it. We've got a good guest lined up that I'm excited about. So check that out if you are interested. Another thing you could do is you could email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. And we'll send you an invitation into the Discord, where we are talking about Nintendo stuff basically all the time. As of recording today, there was a PlayStation State of Play. We chatted about that thing while it was going on too. So if you would like to be in that kind of space, chatting with like-minded Nintendo dorks, you can do that. Just email us. We'll invite you in. All right, Mark, are you ready to get down to the topic at hand and discuss our favorite Nintendo creative things?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we're 2 weeks late, but it is to be forgiven because there was a Nintendo Direct in there. But September 11th, 2015 was the date that Super Mario Maker was released on the Wii U. And Mark, I remember this. I remember the release of Super Mario Maker. It was the day of my first Herald audition.
Oh,
Maybe second. It was the date of a Herald audition where, and that's an improv team at UCB. And I remember buying the game before my audition and being like, when my audition is over, I'm coming home and playing this. And then like going out to drinks after the audition with like my group that had gone through the audition together. And one of those people being like, hey, don't you need to go play that Mario game? She was right. I did need to go and play that Mario game. But so we are now 10 years in a world with Super Mario Maker, which sounds like a pretty good time to reflect on because Nintendo will do this from time to time, either build a whole game around you expressing yourself creatively or have just little modes in them for ways to express yourself. And other things like that. So we're talking about our sort of like favorite ways to express yourself, to be creative within Nintendo products.
Yeah, like creative tools, creative outlets is the way that I approached it because, I didn't own a Wii U, but when Super Mario Maker 2 was released on Switch, I picked that up. But I generally am not big into like crafting or that sort of thing in games.
Would you say that you are big into crafting in physical meat space here?
No.
Yes.
No. So probably
that's what I was gonna say is that
Yeah.
like I don't think of you as a like crafting person. You're very creative in other ways, but I associate all of those with like language stuff, right? And not with like the creation of physical objects.
Yeah.
If we had Ryan Mogi on the podcast right now, she's a very crafty person.
100%.
And she'll throw like little crafting parties, and I always go and feel like, I don't
Out of my depth.
Yeah, like I am an ogre. And just breaking whatever I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing for me with Tears of the Kingdom, when Tears of the Kingdom was like kind of like revealed and we learned what the deal with it is, where it's all about putting these different contraptions together to solve puzzles. Kind of worried me a little bit because that's not something that I enjoy doing in video games. And so
yeah, well, and like luckily, Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't have Tears of the Kingdom on my list.
I have it as like a honorable mention, so we can talk about it here.
But just that, like, it is, if you let it be like a thing where you are creatively building vehicles and weapons and contraptions to murder stuff, it can be very cool. But like, I don't know, I feel like I built just like haphazard stuff all the time, used it for like a second, and then was like, forget it, I'm just going and swinging.
Yes. Well, I think that's what made one of the things that made the game so cool is that you could approach it from all those different ways.
Right.
Like, I remember there was some shrine where there was a very tall wall and you had to figure out how to get like up that tall wall with, the limited tools that they give you. And I just built the dinkiest, it was probably like a piece of metal with like a lamp and a balloon above it. So it just it took me like probably 7 minutes, to slowly float over. But you could do it. There was so much opportunity for creativity in it. And I really appreciated that. And then you look online and people are building like TIE fighters and stuff like that.
Right. And that's fine for those people.
No, and it's great. Like, it's cool that the game has that much flexibility where it's like, you can approach it like me, who I did the building stuff as little as I possibly could get away with, and then it also is robust enough that somebody could spend so much time in it and build something really incredible.
Tune something amazing. Yeah, there's a shrine in Tears of the Kingdom where it's like you had to like ride on rails, and it's like 2 rails side by side, and kind of like loops around and then like comes back and like towards the chest. And that was one where I remember seeing like everyone online approaching it differently, and like some people like put a little fin in the bottom of the thing so it like stays between the 2 tracks, and other people were like, I really just need to like get through this one part and then like shield surf through the rest of it. And other people just like building flying machines to just like catapult themselves over it, and all of that stuff. Like, it was all viable ways to get around. And even if most of the time I was just like spawning a platform with like rockets on either side of it to just like get myself up as high as I could, then like that's mostly how I interacted with it.
Yeah,
And
totally.
still had fun, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But oh yes, so sorry. I just wanted to steer it back to that I don't think of you as like a physically crafty person, and that like you didn't mess around much with like the Mario Maker 2 tools or anything
No,
like that.
I didn't. I enjoyed playing some of the levels, and I'm glad that Nintendo had kind of like a single player campaign in there with their own build levels. And I thought they did that really in a really smart way, because I felt like those would be good seeds to show like, here are things you could do in Mario Maker, and you could elaborate on this in your own levels. But no, I didn't do that. So a lot of my picks today are things within games that are not necessarily like, they weren't like, here's a creation tool, go nuts. It's just like, well, I did this in this game. Like, I expressed my creativity this way using this aspect of the game.
Yeah. Well, that's I don't know what that means, and I'm interested to find out what exactly. Before we dig into our like lists here of hey, guess what? We came up with 3 to 5 creative things in Nintendo games. There's one like very strictly not at all Nintendo game that I have to shout out, which is the PlayStation 3 game Mod Nation Racers. I've spoken about this game on the podcast before, but probably not for a long time. And the PlayStation 3 was, I don't know, 100 years ago. So let's talk about it a little bit now. It was a kart racer that was part of PlayStation's create. What was it? Create. It's something. Play, create, share was the like initiative, and sort of like the Little Big Planet stuff was part of that. But Mod Nation Racers was just about making kart racer stuff. So you would make your own karts, you would make your own racers, and crucially, you would make your own tracks. And making your own track, surprisingly intuitive in a game, because they're just like, okay, now drive the shape of the track. And so you just like do that, and then you can fine tune it all later and whatever. But like, it had an incredibly intuitive set of creation tools. And like, for something as when like the kind of the thing with kart racers is like, you've played all the tracks and now you're like, okay, well, now what? And when you can make your own, or you can play user generated content, like it's a kart racer that never stops giving, and the racing was really good and the items were really good. That game was very good, and it makes me a little bit angry that Nintendo never attempted this with a Mario Kart Maker. But yeah, I gotta shout out Mod Nation Racers.
Man, I remember when like Little Big Planet, because Mod Nation Racers was a like Sackboy, right? Like, wasn't it all?
No, so
it was not.
That was not Sackboy. So there was a Little Big Planet karting that came out after.
Okay.
That was the same. That was the company that did Mod Nation, just with like the Sackboy stuff like stapled on top of it, and wasn't as good.
I understand.
They messed up the way the items work, which was like hugely detrimental to it. And also just like, I don't want my guys to look like the Sackboy. I think the Sackboy's bad.
Well,
you don't have to weigh in on that if you don't want to. If you want to remain neutral on is Sackboy bad, you can.
It's more just that, like you said, it was like a million years ago, but it was such a thing for Sony for like 5 or 7 years. There's Little Big Planet, Little Big Planet 2, this Mod Nation Racers. Like, they were really into it for a little bit.
Well, and then they did release Dreams. Like, do you remember Dreams?
Yeah.
That was their sort of like create anything.
The same developers as Little Big Planet.
Yes, that's right. And what is the name of that? They're called like
the developers.
Yeah.
Media Molecule.
Media Molecule. That's right.
I had to look it up.
I know. Well, you could have just taken that that win, Mark. But yeah, and then like Dreams launched, and they did sort of like a like relaunch with it. But like, that's a place where I feel like the creative tools are too freeing, and you just have to like be an artist and game designer in order to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this creation tools, I feel like have to be so finely dialed in to be something that like I can actually use and have a good time with. But it sounds like maybe what you're about to your selections here are going to be a little bit off that path and
I think
feel
it's a
less
little bit
like
of both. It's a little all over the place.
So we got a couple here. Mark, I'm going to ask you to go first.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to start with SimCity for the Super Nintendo.
Great.
So this was the first.
Remind me, was this game published by Nintendo?
It was. It was.
Yeah.
So the story behind getting SimCity on the Super Nintendo is kind of interesting. They had like somebody from Maxis come to Nintendo of America headquarters, and they were like, we would like to put this on the Super Nintendo. They also intended to put it on the NES at some point, but they didn't end up doing that. They're like, we'd like to put this on the Super Nintendo. We will develop it ourselves. We will pay you $1 for every copy sold, and if you accept right now, we will give you this $1 million check. Huh. And they agreed.
Wow.
And so Will Wright, the creator of SimCity, and Shigeru Miyamoto worked together on the version of SimCity for the Super Nintendo.
God, I wish that happened just a few more times where it's like, Miyamoto, here's this other legendary game designer.
Yeah, and you guys work together.
Do it, yes.
And then some of the ideas that they kind of like worked on together for the Super Nintendo version inspired some elements in SimCity 2000. So, so this was my first exposure to SimCity, and SimCity for the Super Nintendo was a Super Nintendo launch title, but I came to it way later. Like, we didn't get a Super Nintendo probably until like 3 or 4 years after release. I'm not even entirely sure when we got one. And my mom picked this up at a garage sale at some point.
Yeah.
Like, it just fell into my lap. It wasn't something that I asked for or anything like that. So this was my first exposure to SimCity. And, I was never any good at it. Like, the campaigns are doing all that stuff. But, I guess they weren't really campaigns. You just like the different scenarios that they would have out for you.
They gave you scenarios, right? Yeah.
But I just loved dinking around with it.
Yeah.
Like, I spent so much time. The soundtrack to this game is so good. It's composed by Soya Oka, who she also composed the music for Super Mario Kart and Pilot Wings. Worked on a bunch of Nintendo projects. And yeah, I just have there's a code that you can get like $1 million. It's like 999,999. And yeah, I just had so much fun trying to create the biggest cities that I could, developing you can put like theme parks in this version of the game.
Yeah.
Bowser comes and destroys your city instead of Godzilla,
which is pretty good.
Like the Nintendo version. Like, I don't know, it's just
Do you think it's interesting that they've never revisited this idea? That like Nintendo's never like tried to do another Sim City?
I think, like you said, it's just that like moment in time, right, where Miyamoto was still deeply involved with game development, but he probably had so much internal sway that if it's something he wanted to pursue, that Nintendo was interested in that time in those sort of like collaborations. I have a hard time believing it would happen nowadays.
Well, and I wonder if they had just like learned the lesson from Tetris and the Game Boy, right? Where they're like, we need a game that doesn't feel like the rest of our games, and we can rely on like a master game creator from somewhere else in the world to like do this. And like, whether it's Pajitnov or Wright, that they found those for Tetris and SimCity. But then it sort of stops here in the early 90s. Like, I can't think of another example like that.
No, maybe like the closest thing that comes to mind is Mario plus Rabbids.
Sure, right, yes. Yeah, Mario plus Rabbids actually is a pretty good example, I think.
But no like shade to the developers of those games, but definitely not at the same, like status in the industry as a Will Wright or something like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, Davide Solani, who is the guy from Ubisoft who made the Mario plus Rabbids games, he's a name.
Yeah, like, you're right. He's the Rayman guy, right?
Yeah. Rayman, but yes.
Yeah. Hey man, Rayman.
But yeah, so the Sim City. Also, I don't. Have you played like other city maker games, city creator games?
No, like it was really this and Roller Coaster Tycoon and Roller
Yeah,
Coaster
yeah.
Tycoon 2 that captured my imagination. And I got Zoo Tycoon one year for my birthday because I really was into Roller Coaster Tycoon. But no, like we owned SimCity 2000 and I messed around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And but I've never been into like Sim Tower, or, like Sim Train or even any of like the newer stuff.
Like City Skylines or anything
No,
like that.
no.
Yeah. Or like what are those games? The Jurassic World Evolution, the like the park
Oh,
builder
sure,
games.
yeah.
I messed around with one of those at an E3 one year, and was like, oh, this is interesting. I can see where this is fun. But like that is so profoundly not my style of game. But I wonder if it would like spark something for you or not. Maybe
Yeah.
that time has just passed.
Well, yeah, I don't know. When the Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic was released on iPad,
Right.
I got into that again. But it was, it was like I had played this a ton, hours
Sure.
and hours and hours when I was a kid. So some of that was like nostalgia. I don't know if I'd be able to get into a new one. Sometimes games that are open ended like that scare me a little bit.
Sure.
Just the amount of hours that you could put into it.
Right. And you're when you're like faced with the question of like genuinely, what do I do now?
Yeah,
That can be a lot.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. The Sims, great. I'm also going to go with one for my first game here. That is yours was published by Nintendo, also developed by it, but like for whatever reasons in my head, I'm like The Sims. It's a little or
Yeah,
SimCity. SimCity. That's it's a little bit removed from like the normal Nintendo thing. I'm going to go with a game that was not published by Nintendo, but was published for the NES in 1992. So a couple years after the Super NES has been released. Another game that I've mentioned on this show before, but not all that much. Tiny Toon Adventures Cartoon Workshop. Mark, do you know much about this video
No,
game?
not at all.
Tiny Toon Adventures Cartoon Workshop is exactly this. You are given the opportunity to make a cartoon with Tiny Toon's characters. So it you pick from a couple different like backgrounds that are all like some of them are long areas, some of them are like both long and tall, like vertical and horizontal. And there's like a desert, there's a sunken ship, there is a spaceship, there's all these there's the university itself, Luniversity. I apologize. And then you can have up to 2 characters, and each of the characters have like a set of different little animations that you can like have play out on certain timers, and then like you can also move them around on those things and like plant like special effects. So you can set up all of these things to play in time. So you could, in this like desert landscape, use Calamity Coyote, the little wily coyote, and Little Beeper, the little the Roadrunner, and like set up sort of like classic things of like Calamity running off the edge of a cliff, tapping around with his foot, looking down, realizing there's no ground below him, and falling, and then Little Beeper like jumping up and like dashing off. And you couldn't, there wasn't enough data in this thing to save anything, so like you could make these cartoons, but then you had to like record them to a VCR or whatever. And I just spent so much time with this thing building these little like cat and mouse. Furball the cat was one of the characters in there, and like Plucky and Babs and Buster, and just doing all these little things, and I loved it. And I remember picking it up at the Regency Mall in Racine, Wisconsin, and not knowing what it was, seeing Tiny Toons, and then being like, Cartoon Workshop, what? And it's the sort of thing where I'm like, I don't know why I'm not an animator now, or like why I didn't get more into like filmmaking, because I was obsessed with Tiny Toon Adventures Cartoon Workshop.
Was this before or after Mario Paint? Do you know?
So 92, so like concurrent with.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like in terms of my obsessions, I think probably concurrent as well. Although Mario Paint is so much more flexible, and I was using it to make movies way more than I was using Tiny Toons.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know. You may have mentioned it on the show before, but I had forgotten about this. What were the creation tools like? Like, I'm trying to imagine how you would create a scenario.
Yeah, so you would, like just selecting the setting was, easy, right? It was just kind of like one thing, but then like you would like select which character you were putting in, and then you would place them on the thing, and then you would like, push like up, down, left, or right to like here's the path that they move during the animation, and then you set the speed of the animation afterwards. So like if he's doing a walk cycle and you end up like, pushing him further faster, then you had to like, like speed up the walk cycle a little bit. And then I wish I remembered more like exactly how all of the timing worked out, because you could actually get some pretty long like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. But like of all these different animations and like gags piling up on top of each other, with multiple characters interacting. I don't really remember how the timing on that worked.
That's really fun, though. Do you know, did it support the Super Nintendo mouse?
Mark, this is an NES game.
You said that.
Yes.
You said that, yeah.
But it is worth, what a great mistake to make just now, because like, I do want to hammer home that this was an NES game.
That seems so crazy to me.
It is crazy. In 1992, far from being the last NES game, right? That honor, of course, goes to Zoda's Revenge. Zoda's Revenge Star Tropics 2. No, that's not right. It's Wario's Woods. That's the last one.
Zoda. Hey man, Rayman.
Hey man, Rayman. So yeah, Tiny Toon Adventures Cartoon Workshop. Mark, your second pick here.
Yeah, okay. My second pick is going to be making up my own songs with the Ocarina and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah, great.
Because you could do whatever you want. It's a fully functional ocarina.
Yeah, it's like an octave and a half, maybe.
Yeah, you can play any song that your heart desires. And, sometimes as a lonely little boy, you just are playing Ocarina of... You're actually Majora's Mask, because Majora's Mask... Well, I remember renting that before I played like any of Ocarina of Time.
Incredible.
Yeah, very confusing. And and just because I did not understand Majora's Mask at all when I rented it, but I got to the point where you're able to like do stuff with the ocarina.
Well, but at first you had to like do stuff as that Deku scrub, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, and especially because like from the outset it looks like you have just 5 notes, right? But then you're like, no, I can go like up a step or down a step on each of these, so it like really opens up the whole thing.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to oversell. Like, I have no musical ability. You know what I mean? Like,
I hear these compositions, Mark.
Yeah, I can't. So it's they weren't like lost masterpieces or anything, but I just remember having a lot of fun in a game that I otherwise found completely confusing. Just seeing what I could come up with.
So there's the Scarecrow song, right, where you have to make up a tune for the Scarecrow. Do you, and then like play it for him again when you're an adult? Do you, when you play the game now, do you like, are you careful to like do like compose something for that Scarecrow?
No, I do simple,
down,
exactly.
Down.
Yeah, I have no recall for that thing. Like when we were playing, this was a few years ago, but we were playing Ocarina of Time 3D, and like I would constantly have to look up again, like how do I play this song?
Right.
Like I have no, it just does not compute with my brain. Even like the dead simple, compositions. Yeah, exactly. It's just like nope.
The ocarina, of course, in all time, like easily the best instrument in video games. I was going to say easily the best instrument in Zelda.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah. But like, is there a better one in games?
Oh yeah,
period?
That's a great question.
Like, does the Guitar Hero guitar count?
Does that count? That is exactly where my mind went. That's exactly where my mind went.
That one might be better. but might not.
It might not be.
better.
It might be a close call.
It's a tough.
Might be a close
race.
call. Good in different ways. But you're right. Like, not even close. The Ocarina is the best in the Zelda series. And I'm glad that they've stopped trying to chase that high. Because diminishing returns as the series went on.
Right.
And they were like, I guess it has to have a musical component.
Right. It's like the wolf howls.
Right. And you could, like, change the pitch. What if you use the, like, Wiimote plus, Wii Motion Plus to strum a harp?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the harp strumming. That's bad, too. Will we be talking more about that sort of thing later on in this conversation? Who knows? Honorable mention, if nothing else. All right, my next creative outlet here. I'm going to move away from music, even though I could talk more music here, and go with the Mii fighters / figure players / custom moves / custom characters in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and for 3DS. Now, Mark, I know you had Smash for 3DS. Did you mess around much with the custom moves for any of the fighters?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so the game had a system where, so this is where they introduced the Mii fighters, and the Mii fighters to this day have custom special moves. So they have 3 different options for each, like neutral B, forward B, down B, and up B, right? And so they had that, on that game. They have it now. But on Smash 4, all the characters, except for the DLC characters, had 2 alternate moves for every special move they had. The problem was that you couldn't access these things and make these sort of like custom versions of the characters until you earned those special moves. You earned those custom moves. And in the 3DS version, I forget even what it's, Smash Run, is that maybe what it's called? The thing where it was like a big like platforming open world.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So you could earn those special moves in that mode, but it was, if every character in the game has 2 special moves per move, that means each character has 8. It means there's like 300 of these things that you could unlock, and sometimes you'd go through a whole thing and unlock one of them. And you had no control over what you were unlocking and what you weren't. Classic Smash Brothers progression, where it's just like, I don't know, good luck. Maybe you'll find what you want here. But so in doing this, you could unlock these custom moves, and then you could make a custom character and save that custom character to an amiibo. Okay? And then you could scan in that amiibo as a computer-controlled fighter that you would train. So you would play like against your computer-controlled, Pac-Man or whatever. And you could like teach it how to, if you played in a way where you were throwing a lot of projectiles, it would learn how to defend against projectiles. And if you gave it those custom moves, so he would play a little bit different than a regular computer-controlled Pac-Man or a regular human-controlled Pac-Man that hadn't changed his moveset to this very specific thing. So there was this intensely involved create a character thing happening within Smash 4. And that totally deep character creation system does not carry over to Smash Ultimate.
Oh, that's
Ultimate
wild.
In name only, I say. So the Mii fighters are still, of course, as customizable as they ever were, with the added benefit of like you also get to use Mii's to create the fighters. And there's the 3 different versions. There's the gunfighter, sword fighter, and brawler. And man, if you let yourself just like get into that and like make fighters, it was super fun and like really cool to like play a multiplayer match and just like drop one of like your amiibo in there that had been trained up in a specific way or who had specific moves. And I haven't done that at all on the Switch version, partially because like some of the romanticism of the custom moves not being there, like kind of dulls it. But like, I've got the Mii fighter amiibos. I should put like specific Mii fighters on them so that they can be like usable anywhere. It's just a cool thing.
That is a cool idea. So you have your Pac-Man, you're training him up in a specific way.
Yeah.
And when you drop him in, it's not for you to play as that special Pac-Man.
No.
It's for that special Pac-Man to like fight against you.
That's correct.
Wow.
Or that you could, because there were like achievements or whatever they called them in Smash Brothers, where it's like characters fight on like whatever, and you could like scan in these like CPU characters to like fight each other for a certain amount of time, or like get a certain number of kills. So you could do that too if you didn't want to play and you just wanted the game to play itself.
Yeah, that's so interesting to have that huge, like you said, that's so complex. Just like this an entire other system that is there if you want to mess around with it. How cool.
And to have so much of it like married to Amiibo, and to have like some of that functionality still exist, because I could still do that. I could still get a figure player, is what they're called, to like hop in and play, but they would have to use the basic moveset and not the custom moveset.
Well, I want to kind of like piggyback off of that for my next pick, because I just want to shout out Mii Maker in general.
Yeah.
So the ability to create Miis. I feel like, the era of the Mii, we were talking about Little Big Planet and Sackboy and how Sony was so in on that initiative for a while. Miis hit the earth like a meteor.
Yes.
Like it was
MIITEOR.
Like it was, Xbox ripped them off with avatars for the Xbox 360. You know what I mean? Like the ability to create these custom avatars, and then even though they were fairly rudimentary,
they're just the right level of complex though.
Yes.
Like there's just enough where you're like, how am I going to make this look like my dad? And then you do it and you're like, that looks like my dad.
It looks, it does. Like, yes. And how am I going to make this look like Peter Griffin? Oh,
sure.
Pretty easily, it turns
out.
out.
How am I going to make this look like Zoidberg?
But no, like, that was part of the fun. You could log into Mii channel or later on Miiverse and just see what other people had created, making them look like your friends, creating different avatars for yourself. Like, I don't know, there was something that they really tapped into with Mii's and Mii Maker, and it's still there.
It's still there, but it will never be like it was on Wii.
No.
And Wii was also so good at being just bring it over to your friend or your family's house, and like you'll play it together, and you'll spend some time playing Wii Tennis and other bowling, but then like either afterwards they'll be like, well, I want my own Mii, and then you go in and just like together just like pitch out how their Mii is supposed to look. And I remember so many like gameplay sessions with friends and with family turning into just making Miis for a while.
Yeah, because everybody want one. They're delightful. You want one that looks like you. Also, it's fun to. It would be fun to like load up my family Wii that we have somewhere and see all of the different Miis that are on it, because it's not like you could take your Mii that you had created on your system and then like take it over to somebody's house.
I think you could save them on a Wii remote.
Oh, on a Wiimote. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Well, then, like, Miiverse I didn't own a Wii U, but they also had, like, Miiverse on 3DS. And it was such a fun social thing to, like, street pass, and you would get other people's Miis, and you would go to conventions or to an airport or something, and just, like, have your 3DS light up because you had gotten all these different street passes, and then have them join your crew, and there was, like, a whole, like, RPG type thing with the more Miis you got, the more powerful you were. Miis were just a lot of fun. But you can't recapture that.
No. I mean,
they can't make Miis happen again, but they still exist.
They still exist, and Miitomo, or what's it called? Miitopia? No.
Well, Miitopia is the game that RPG. Is the 3DS game that they ported to Switch.
Tomodachi, though.
Now there's Tomodachi Life. Yes.
Right. And those are all Miis.
Yeah, that's true.
So like it's coming back in some sort of way. Mark, I went to a movie in Los Angeles National Park. Is that what it's called? Just over here in
National Forest?
No, just over here in Highland Park.
I don't know.
And it was an outdoor movie in the park, and so there was a blanket of people near us who were playing their 3DSs.
Oh,
delightful,
wonderful!
I should have brought mine so I could street pass.
Street pass.
Yeah, no, the like simplicity of the me, and then how Nintendo was so good at just putting those things in every Wii game. So like you were playing Mario Kart Wii, and yeah, you could play as a me, but also they were just like hanging out at Coconut
Yes.
Mall or
Uh-huh.
whatever, or cheering you on from the sidelines. Um, I made so many me's in college, or is the year after I graduated college, where I was still working on campus in a dorm. And so like all of my friends from that era had me's on my Switch. And you know, I took that thing with me when I moved to Hawaii and didn't know anyone, and would like play any Wii game, and it would be like, oh, all of my friends are
That's
here.
fun.
Yeah, it just in the way that like art connects people in an indirect way. I feel like the Mii's did a really great job of that.
Yeah.
And then they're on my Wii U right now, so because they migrate over.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. Like the tools to make them, it was just the right amount of complexity
Mm-hmm.
where you could make remarkably close approximations of somebody where it was
Right.
clearly them, but it was easy for anybody to do.
There's no like chin contour slider or whatever, right?
Right. There's just 4 chins to choose from,
Right.
and you'll like it.
You'll love it.
Look,
even.
people are not snowflakes. Everybody just has 4 chins. Those are the options.
Nintendo knows what's going on. All right, the Mii's great shout out there, Mark. I'm going to stay on Miiverse for a second. And its execution on the Wii U specifically. Because man, did they love using the gamepad and your ability to like write little messages for all kinds of things. But you know, there was like just a straight up Miiverse posts where like you just like posted in groups about specific games. But there are 2 implementations in particular that I wanted to shout out. One, Splatoon, baby.
Oh, yeah. That's on my list as an admirer. I've never, because some of the stuff that gets created is so
It's unreal.
intricate and cool.
Right. And I don't know how people are doing it.
I'm sure a lot of people are like
using the
really
tool
good
to
artists, but
import.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing some people, yeah, there's like tools you could probably use.
But man, first seeing those the first time walking around like Inkopolis and seeing these little like banners that people have created for themselves, and because the Wii U had like the gamepad built in, and it was such like a fundamental part of playing that game and playing that system, like everyone did it. There was no opting out of it on Wii U. Everyone drew like a little something, and so it's just like constant expression from people, and like for a game that feels like it's so much about like expression, or Splatoon does. I don't know why, like because of
I
the
completely
fashion.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just like seeing all these things was really cool. The other thing I wanted to shout out was in Wind Waker HD, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, you could draw little notes and then drop them into messages in bottles and then send them out into the ocean, and then someone else in some other version of Wind Waker would find your bottle with little messages in it.
That's fun.
So like I don't really know what the point of that is. But like you could express yourself to some link out there in the universe.
Yeah, that's fun.
And that's why Nintendo's really not bringing it back. They don't want you to express yourself. But yeah, just the way that you could write and draw little messages on the Miiverse for both Splatoon and Wind Waker, kind of special things.
Okay, well, I'm gonna piggyback off of that.
We're doing so much
stacking.
piggybacking.
We're really stacking here.
Woo!
I really liked in Super Mario, and this is a limited tool set, but I really liked in Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yes.
How you could signpost things with the standees.
Yes.
Because you know, like those levels, especially when you were playing online, so you saw like the ghosts running around. And there were the levels where you had to like find the different hidden goals.
Yeah, they were like all riddles almost.
Yes. And if you were playing online, you know, you could see other people running around, and so they might find like an area that looked like it was blocked off, but it's like, okay, there is something up there, I can get there. But then the other way people would do it is like they would use standees to help each other out. And like it's such a limited tool set, but I thought that was such a fun and creative like way to express yourself or to communicate with players.
I always wish that you could choose which standee you were dropping. right? Like it was always just like randomly one of the ones that you unlocked for that character. Because some of them are really cute and really funny, and then like there are some that appear to be communicating something, right? Like, oh no, you'll get hurt here, or like run here, or whatever. And it would just be nice if you had some kind of control over that. That's a good one. Should I go again?
Yeah, go for it.
It has come to the point in the show where I must mention Animal Crossing, Happy Home Paradise, and Happy Home Designer. Why was I talking about this recently on the show? For downloadable.
Oh yeah,
content. Yeah. But for Happy Home Designer, the whole premise of the thing is that you are working at like an island resort, and you are designing vacation homes for animals that come to this archipelago. And the animals ask you for 3 things. Every animal asks you for 3 things in their house. They're like, I like tractors, I want 1 yellow wall, and I need a pizza. And so as long as you design that, as long as the house has those 3 things, anything else you do in it is gravy. You don't get more points or more, like, you get no reward for doing anything in addition to those 3 things they ask for, which means the reward in and of itself is the creation of the home. And it gives you essentially unlimited resources. If you have the item, you can place it as many times as you want. And it is just like, it's a canvas is what it is. It's not, in the way that Animal Crossing takes away a lot of like the hard limits of a video game. There's no fail state. There's no, way to like lose something. This does it even more, where it's like, no, you don't even have to like earn stuff. Just decorate. Just express yourself artistically. And I think it is remarkable for that. And I've never actually played Happy Home Paradise, but I assume it's much the same thing. Happy Home Designer. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
the
I remember.
3DS game.
I remember coming over to your house and seeing the homes that like Sarah was building in Happy Home Paradise, and it's really cool the kind of stuff you can do.
It's very cool the kind of stuff you can do, and like it will like kind of guide you sometimes. Like in addition to doing like the homes for animals, you have to do like a school and a restaurant and like a library or whatever. And so that is a little bit more prescribed of like it needs to have these things. So it does a good job of like introducing the new tools to you and rolling things out. But it's also just like such an easier way to like interact with decorating a space. You can in Animal Crossing New Horizons like go into like the sort of like room edit mode. But prior to that game, there was no way to just do that. You would have to like physically drop and drag items around a room to decorate it. But yeah, it's incredible that by the time Happy Home Paradise comes out, that it's like, here are all the tools. Decorate this however you choose. And yeah, I did some of this too, but like I mostly think of it as a game that Sarah put as much time into as she did New Horizons, and really did some cool stuff. So.
I have just like a couple that I think will just be my kind of last one.
Okay.
And so
I feel like I'm in the same place.
Okay.
Too, so yeah.
Okay. So I just want to shout out Wii Music. You and I played it for one crazy day where
we had a great time.
And really the game, I think its biggest failing is that you had no way to share the things that you created, because we created some real cuckoo bananas instrumentations.
Here's the thing, there's no way to not create cuckoo banana stuff. Right? Like the tools are for being sloppy.
Yeah,
and
it's
silly.
true. It's true, but there was no way to like share your abominations, and I think that's a missed opportunity. Wii Music, RIP. Labo, just wanted to shout out Labo.
Gotta shout out Labo.
It's like a prescribed in the beginning with the kits. Like it's like a prescribed creativity, but there's something so satisfying about starting with all these flat cardboard sheets and ending up with like a home that you can insert like tab into, and it starts making weird noises and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Building the piano.
Well, and like remember we made a little like car that moved around with the
Yes.
vibrations,
Uh-huh.
and then like we drew on it, and there was like a stencil on there, and like there were some stickers too. Like, it is very prescribed in some ways, but it does leave you enough room to actually like express something if you want. And then, you know, all the Labo kits like came with the sort of Labo Garage, which they then like
Right.
kind of spun out into Game Builder Garage,
Yeah.
where you could give it all of this like if this then this logic so that you could make your own Labo things. That's all way too advanced and something I never really messed around with. But like stuff that you could do to like build cardboard contraptions that interacted with your Switch, pretty remarkable.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for me. Those are my final ones.
Yeah, so I didn't my sort of like final wrap up. Of course, the Mario Paint music creation tool. We've talked a little bit about Mario Paint recently with it being released on NSO, and you know I'm a huge fan of it, but in particular the music creation tool. Think it's great. Think it's fun. It's extremely limited, but that doesn't stop me from loving it. And then also Mario Kart DS. You had like a little emblem on the side of your cart, and there you could go into the options and like make your own emblem
I
in like
totally
pixel art,
forgot about that.
like a 16 by 16 grid, and you can just like place whatever colors you wanted anywhere. And that became like the emblem on your cart. And you know, because it's the DS, you're just like actually tapping on the screen to make this pixelated monstrosity. But man, was it cool to
That's
have your own
awesome.
little icon.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I wanted to shout out is and I actually didn't write this down. It was something I remembered while we were talking. In the Link's Awakening remake, the sort of like dungeon maker tool, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, it's look, he will always be Dampy in my heart, but I think we've been corrected on this. It's like Dumpy or
Dumpy.
something. Like, yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's Dampy. All right. That you would collect these like little these slabs that would then be you could arrange them to make your own dungeons. The dungeons all like they constructed like little tasks and goals within them where you had to like make dungeons using a certain number, certain style of plates together. But it was cool if extremely again like very limited and kind of hard to express yourself. It was mostly just like, oh, I put together one that works. You know, like that was the highest honor you could achieve.
I think it's Dampé's Dungeon Adventure. Could that be what it's called? Chamber Dungeon?
Chamber Dungeon. There we go. Chamber is really the part of it that yeah. Well, and like it's the kind of thing where you're like, oh, they wanted to do a Zelda maker, but like got this far in dungeon creation, we're like, I don't, we can't give people this much freedom.
Well, especially because I mean, Link's Awakening is a kind of the perfect
right
like rubric for something like that because it is so grid based.
Yes,
you know. Well, I mean, while we're here, any prognostications about whether the Maker series has come to an end, or if we should expect to see a like Mario Kart Maker or something like that in the future?
Mark, I love hearing you tee up a segment. It's great. Honestly, it is not something that we had when we were doing like predictions for Switch 2. I was sort of I thought they were going to go in a like creative direction or in a like make it yours kind of direction. And I, you know, even before it was like Mario Kart Maker, which I've kind of already mentioned as like I think that's a dream project. But we haven't really gotten that. And none of the I guess Tomodachi Life will be a creative game, right? A way to sort of express yourself, however indirectly. But yeah, I don't know. I they really only made the 2 Mario Maker games, and no other game that they've put out has had Maker as part of it. But I would love them to take another bite at that apple.
Yeah, I feel like they, you know, Nintendo loves to do things in twos, and so and I feel like Mario Maker 2 sold fine, but didn't really light the world on fire, especially in the way that I think, you know, with the Switch bump that so many other series were getting.
Yeah, sure.
I think Mario Maker 2 in some ways is a disappointment. And so, yeah, I
Yeah, it certainly seems that way in like how they rolled out the like additional content for
Yeah,
it.
where it's just like, okay, we're kind of done. But yeah, so no, I would kind of be, I think I would be surprised, but never say never. And maybe with Mario Kart World, they'll decide this is the time. We're gonna
Yeah.
do like a DLC or something.
Super Mario Maker 2 is the 23rd best-selling game on Switch. It sold 8.42 million copies.
Oh my gosh.
So
and then
it's-
we're all like, what a disappointment.
Yeah, like bad, I guess. But I mean that is it's less than Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Right.
At 9.07 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we are going to be getting a Splatoon game here in not too long, right? In the form of Splatoon Raiders. We don't know anything about that really. I wonder how much like self-expression there'll be in that.
Hey, Star Fox, do something with Star Fox.
Hey, Star Fox, do something with Star Fox. Yeah, I mean,
maybe we need to pitch other Maker games. Maybe that's
that's its whole episode.
Yeah.
Thing is, I don't really know what you do other than just be like, Wave Race Maker. I mean, it sounds cool.
F-Zero. Do something, F-Zero.
Do something, F-Zero. You can make your own missions, right? In Advance Wars? Am I making that up?
I have no idea.
You could definitely do it in Wargroove. Remember Wargroove?
I do remember Wargroove.
But yeah, like a Fire Emblem maker, they could do that.
You make your own Fire Emblem like maps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would try to fold that into like a Fire Emblem campaign. Or like some sort of multiplayer thing where
sure, there's some sort of like ancient god that may or may not have been a dragon, and they can change the terrain on the fly.
Right. I mean, now you are just describing Fire Emblem Fates. All right, Mark, let's close this segment out. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you for being creative with us. And if we left out any big, like, creative suites or something like that, ways that you like to express yourself within Nintendo games, email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com or get in the Discord and talk to us about it there. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much to our 60-minute patrons, Connor McCabe, Patrice Millette, Kyle Seaborn, and Drew Mackey. We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone who is listening or interacting with us in any way here. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening. Okay, what about? I know we're in post time here, but what about a Rhythm Heaven maker?
Oh,
like import your own music, and then like it would have to generate like the music video for you, but then you just did like the tapping and all that kind of stuff.
Right, like yes, you're setting. What
I said Rhythm Heaven, but I think what I meant is Elite Beat Agents.
Oh, there we go.
That's what I want.
Yeah. I mean, either would work, but yes, let's bring back Elite Beat Agents and let's bring it back as a
user generated. Yes, there it is.
Make your own Famicom Detective Club. Now I'm just naming things.
Right.
Make your own. No,
what I said was the problem.